Well, good evening. Welcome to Rhythm Roast Cafe. Roy's supposed to be our host today, but you know those attorneys. He got stuck in a case out in Will County and he's in traffic right now. So any moment we're expecting him to bust in on the middle of us. So please excuse our noise, but you can bust in the meantime. Roy's idea for tonight would be, let's talk about the future. So I want you, the viewing audience out there, all 75 and a half of you, to consider what your thoughts are for the video and for the future. And I'm going to ask you one question. If you were POTUS, if you were the president, what would your number one emphasis be? What would you run your platform on in the future? So, to start out with, I'm going to give you some of my concerns about the future. My major concern about the future is AI. We have an AI issue that seems to be something that I'm not capable of wrapping my head around. Okay, I have not gotten anywhere near the competence in artificial intelligence to really know what it's capable of and what it isn't outside of watching sci-fi movies. So I don't know. Well, what do you think?
You're right. We don't know even the minimal capacity of what it's capable of doing. My industry, they're using it more and more. Law, for those of you that don't know. I use it as Google on steroids for the most part. I'll just go to a basic AI site and type in some basic things, and it'll give me a lot more information than a Google search will that'll tell me somewhere else to go to find it. That's the first thing. Second thing, there's a lot of lawyers now that are really relying on it. There's a couple of them that have gotten censured by the appellate court and other courts because their briefs are AI written. It's not as accurate as you would think. So some people are really relying on it, and it turns out that it's not as reliable and dependable as they would like it to think. Luigi, you're going to say something. I could see you waiting.
I mean, I was just going to ask, is that kind of like using a tool improperly, though? Is that someone just not proofreading something after using
the
a
tool?
The
tool is not good enough.
It's something I see, I'm in the software industry, and it's something that I see a lot just in emails where people send things, and it's you can tell it's not a human writing it, but it is very well punctuated. Certain words and vocabularies used where you're like, wow, okay.
Having two boys in college, they now have professors have AI detection programs. Yeah. So my one kid got accused of writing a paper that the teacher said this is AI written, and he had to go back to all of his sources and where he went through his history on his computer and he had to go back to the teacher and said, listen, here's all my research and here's what I drafted it from. And it still took a hard look from the teacher to give him a pass on it. So, but they actually have, they have AI detection software that allows the teachers now. And there's some teachers that are like, why do I care if it's AI written or not? You're the guy that's learning it. If you don't want to learn what you're supposed to learn, you want to have a computer learn it for you, great.
You would have to read it.
Not necessarily.
think.
Not necessarily
No?
anymore, Dan. No. And that's what happens with the lawyers. They go, like, write me a brief on, a particular topic, and it writes them a brief, and it spells out case law and stuff, and then the next thing you know, the case law is inaccurate, or the points
Is
are
that
taken out of
different than
context.
plagiarism, though? I mean, what if,
It is. Well, it's not plagiarism.
I mean, is it different than plagiarism? I mean, a guy can read a brief from somebody else, and then he can rewrite it. You know what I'm saying? It not write it, copy it exactly, but change the words a little bit. Use a thesaurus, you know, and
Someone once said that the two biggest thieves of intellectual property are comedians and lawyers. Okay? Because lawyers constantly share stuff. Do you have a motion? Yeah, I give it to you. Do you have this? Yeah. If you have a new issue and you sometimes you look up cases in the courthouse and see what somebody drafted and you draft it, you use that as a template to draft a pleading.
so
for
that's
yourself.
not that much different.
No, it's not. It's not. But when you're citing cases and you're trying to make legal points and whatnot, and you're citing stuff that's not accurate, judges get pissed at that because they want to make sure that, if they're following some case law, that it's accurate case law. The other thing is, what was it? The saying that the first industrial revolution will deteriorate the human body, and that's happened. The second industrial revolution will deteriorate the human mind, and that's happening.
Well,
That's happening.
Here's an interesting thought, or a fact, actually. A quantum computer can process right now 13,000 times faster than a classic linear computer.
Okay.
13,000 times. So what a regular computer that we work on laptops right now, if you give it a big problem, it might take it almost a billion years to accomplish. These these quantum computers can finish it in minutes, and China is spending 4 times as much money on their quantum computers, developing them, as the United States. And we actually are funding a couple of colleges, but we're not involved in the production. We have Silicon Valley.
So outside of defense. Okay, what's the advantage of having a quantum computer that can process information 100 times, gazillion times faster than my laptop?
They can figure out several things in medicine. You know, how a cell will react to different medications. They can give you real-time analysis on what viruses' potentials are, that you can't get from a linear. And that's what I've been reading, okay? Now, again, this is the guy. This is the guy you got to talk to on that.
The internet's going to disagree with you just a little bit. They're saying that United States actually is the leader in private sector funding. With a strong focus on quantum computing research and development, followed by China immediately.
Yeah, but China's isn't a private sector. China is the country.
Well, China has no private sector, Danny.
Yeah, I was going to say it's...
They're 50% of
they don't know what
everybody.
privacy is.
They own everything. It's
Yeah,
a
I know. I
communist
mean, that's what
country.
gives them an advantage.
Welcome to New York.
They have a funding
maybe tonight,
advantage.
folks, in New York.
So I don't think relying solely upon private Google and Meta and all these private companies, I don't think that's enough. I think we're in deep shit if we don't really involve ourselves on a national level, somehow giving help to these companies that have to face off against China and Japan.
As a libertarian.
And Russia.
As a libertarian,
There we go.
do you want your government to be involved in such technology personally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because I want them to protect us against that government. And that's the only way to do it.
So outside
If they have
of defense, the value of it.
No,
to
there's
the
other
average
values.
Joe,
If you have a quantum computer, you're able to bust any kind of encryption code. Correct?
I mean, you just can't go buy a quantum computer.
No.
So that's you're going down a pretty complex path, I guess. Well, where I was actually going to go is like, what other than technology? There's so many other things that are going to be changing in the future that I think like brings interest to the viewers of your show. a big thing that I think controls everything, including technology, development, politics, everything revolves around culture. I want to know what you guys think the future of culture is for us, especially in terms of like, for the last several years we've gone through, you guys talked about identity politics recently and things like that. Like, where do you see the future of that, politics and everything else moving, not so much technology?
Well, a sociologist would say that culture is a pendulum, that it will swing from one direction to the next, and there's periodic. It kind of follows an economic cycle. They kind of go hand in hand.
So on your pendulum, where are we culturally, and where do you
Well,
think?
right now we're swinging to the right. Okay, we've passed the midpoint on the left. People have had enough of the left because the left has been on the
Have they?
upswing since the '60s.
Have they?
Yes, they
Well,
have.
I don't know. I mean, you got a guy like Mandami who's
Well, he
clearly
didn't have anybody to run against.
No, he did, but
No, he had
there's-
somebody that they thought was a
Danny,
hair
he-
sniffer, and
for the population of New York, the early polls are saying that he is a runaway winner with this election. I don't know. I haven't seen anything as yet.
Let's see what he does.
But no, I don't want to see what he does because anything to me that he does is destructive to what I believe American culture should be. But
you
that's
haven't given him a chance to show us.
I don't want to give him a chance.
Oh, that's
because,
not American.
No, it is American.
it's not.
It absolutely is because if what he is spewing, what he is promoting, what he's saying he wants to do, I know is not good for America.
That's the same thing the left radicals say about Trump.
Right?
But we're giving him a chance.
No, you're not.
I am.
Are you kidding me?
I haven't.
Every time he makes a move, somebody goes to a court and appeals it, and now we have to take it to the Supreme Court.
Well,
They
they-
never did. No,
I would hope
Danny,
they'd do the
Danny,
same thing on
Danny,
Mandami.
Danny, I'm sorry. We've had this argument before. Okay, compare the 8 years that Obama was in office. He got a free ride with everything. Anything that he wanted to do, no problem. Go ahead and do it. And if you got a little pushback, you were considered a racist. Okay.
couldn't get-
Anything that Trump wants to do is immediately met with opposition. It doesn't matter. He wants to build the ballroom with private money, and everybody's crabbing. Okay, did anybody crab when Obama built the ballroom for $300 some odd million of $1 of taxpayer
I don't
money?
think that's the issue with that for most people. The issue that I saw was that it wasn't. Most people thought that that's a historical site.
It's not.
Well, most people thought that.
It's not.
I mean, if
It's
you got the
been-
merchandise mart is a historical site and you can't change that
It's
architecture,
been-
how can you not change the White House?
It's been changed. It's been modified. It's been torn down to its studs. They put
Oh,
a
it's been
resident
burned
up on
down by the
third-
British.
Well, okay, yeah, but they added another level when they put on the residence. They put the West Wing on for the press. Nixon put the bowling alley in.
Well,
Obama put the basketball court in. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. The point of the matter is, he's not. But my point is,
Yeah.
is even something as, to me, trivial as trying to renovate and make the White House better is met with the fiercest of opposition. Okay.
I don't meet it with fierce opposition.
Well, you don't, but it's very clear to me that it is.
I just think it's kind of superfluous if you're going to put your money there, and then say that you're going to not pay federal employees. Okay.
Well, that's not his problem. That's not his fault.
Wait a minute. He's the most powerful man in the free world. How could it not be his problem? Okay, you can't have it
he
both
can't-
ways.
Well, okay, so to get past, so now we're talking about the shutdown, and to get past the shutdown, you need 60 votes. Okay, so he can't just wiggle his nose and get 60 votes.
No, but he could
Okay.
say things like, "I will pay them back pay if we can get
They're
this
all
done."
going to get back pay.
He says he won't do it.
They're all going to get back
Well, this is a
pay.
bluff then?
They're all going to get back
Is this a
pay.
bluff? I mean, didn't he not say that? Yes
No,
or
I
no,
did not.
Conch?
I
What a
did not.
simple
I did
yes or
not
no
hear him
will
say
do.
that they're not going to get back pay. I know a couple of people that I know an air traffic controller, another guy that works for TSA Customs, and they're not getting paid, but they'll go like, yeah, we'll get the back pay.
Well, this is not the first time that this has happened under an administration, whether it's Republican or Democrat. The last time it went this long was Ronald Reagan. Okay, and the air traffic controllers actually went on strike because they didn't get any money. And what did he do?
He fired him.
He fired the whole bunch of them.
Told him you can't go on strike.
And we had
That's it. And they can't go on strike.
military air traffic controllers for
Okay.
almost a year and a half.
So let's not get off topic here.
Oh, okay.
Let's not get off topic.
We're talking about the future, not the past.
Okay, no, but we're talking about how he can end this the shutdown. He can't. He proposed that they do what they call the nuclear option.
Yeah, the
and
60.
get rid of the filibuster,
Right.
which Obama did when it came to Supreme Court justices.
Each one of them does it. Both of them do it.
No, they in fact
The filibuster's a stupid rule anyway.
Republican leadership says we are not doing that.
We
It's
need a
the wrong
constitutional
thing to do.
convention.
The Republican leadership said we're not doing the nuclear option. It's not right, whether we're in power or the Democrats are in power. It's not the right option to do.
Right.
Okay.
And I
Trump
agree.
wants them to do it, and they push back on him and said, no, we're not doing that. Okay. So what do you want him to do to stop this? Okay, the continuing resolution has been passed, I don't know, 14, 15 times without any amendments, and all of a sudden now because Obama
Why isn't the House in session?
it's
can't do
not
anything.
it's not a House vote. It's a Senate vote. It's the Senate's vote. It's not the House has nothing to do with it. Okay? It's the Senate has to pass it.
What? It's a reconciliation. The House does have to pay.
No,
pass it.
the House gives you the budget, House gives you the money, and then the Senate approves it. This is a Senate vote. It's not a House issue. It's a Senate vote.
And why haven't they voted on it?
They voted 14 times. The Democrats won't come over to the other side. They can't get to 60. They get to 55. John Fetterman, who everybody thought was the biggest goofball in the world with his hoodie and walking around in shorts, being a U.S. senator,
Yeah.
he seems to be the most rational Democrat I've talked to and I've heard in ages. Okay, and even he's saying this is stupid.
I'll
This
second that.
This is dumb. What are we doing? Okay, and the reason do you know why they won't pass it?
Because they want to make those cuts.
Because the big beautiful bill already made the cuts. Obamacare has tax cuts that are going to be gone.
Aspiring.
That they kicked, but when they passed Obamacare and then they amended it and they kicked it all down the road so he could be out of office when all the crap hit the fan. Okay, and now it's hitting the fan, and the Democrats are nervous, so they're trying to roll that back.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's not what's happening. What's happening is there's a massive tax cut at the top end of the income bracket. That massive tax cut was sponsored mostly by Elon Musk and his guys, okay? And where is that money going to come from, Nick? If they're going to cut their taxes that much, where's that supplement going to come from? It has to come from one thing. It has to come from the lower classes, the other people. It also has. Trump thinks he can do it with tariffs, something that nations gave up on 100 years ago.
Who builds the big data centers for your technology thing that you talked about earlier?
Who? You mean Google?
Who builds all that? The rich guys, right? They provide a lot of jobs and a lot of income all across.
And they take it. Tell me they don't have yachts. They don't
there's
have
a lot of other
mansions.
people that benefit from it too.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's capitalism. That
Right.
has nothing to do with politics.
It has everything to do with
No, it
politics.
doesn't.
Of course it does.
Only if you want to be an oligarch. Then it is.
we-
If you want to have
You want to be an oligarch,
everybody
you go to
do
Russia. That's
if
an
you-
oligarch.
Well, that's their version of capitalism, and we seem to be moving towards it. More money is concentrated in fewer people, and that's oligarchy. It's a Greek word. You should know that. Okay, oligarchy. All
Garky.
all garkies. You know, a whole bunch of garkies. They're out there, folks.
Listen,
Do we have anybody with a thought? John, are you out there? Rhonda, what do you have in it?
John did say something.
Any society has their rich and they have their poor. Okay? And that's the way it will always be.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't.
It will. If you think it's not going to be that way,
I didn't
in
say
the
that, but
future-
we had our own version of it during the Industrial Revolution. It was called the robber barons. We made adjustments to that in the 30s so that it smoothed out a little bit, and the country moved forward. And it didn't have the.
What smoothed out?
We didn't have the boom and bust cycle that we had from
crap stock
1900 to
market
1933.
The the stock market crashed in 1929. What are you talking about?
It was after that that we didn't have the boom and bust. It was the 30s. I said we've straightened it out in the 30s. 28 was the crash. 30s
Right.
is when we straightened it out.
Well,
okay?
it didn't get straightened out till World War II, Danny.
No, it got
No,
straightened
no, I
out
think it
with
straightened out till World War
FDIC
II.
number one. You had
Oh,
trust
government-
back in the banks again. The federal government had to come in and say, we will support the banks, a private industry, just to keep the country going. That's history, okay? That's in that gray and blue
By the way,
American
who
history
owns
book
the
that you
Federal
get in high
Reserve?
school.
Who owns the Federal Reserve?
Who owns the Federal Reserve?
Who owns it?
Who owns the banks, though?
No, they don't. They borrow the money. They borrow the money from the Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve. Oh, now we're on a tangent issue here. That's a whole subject all
Okay,
by
let's not
itself.
get on it. Let's
Okay,
not
I mean,
get
if you
bogged
want to
down.
make that next week's, I'll prepare for it because, yeah, the Federal Reserve is a big issue. It has its
So-
pluses and minuses.
so
okay,
moving-
number one, Federal Reserve is a good thing unless Paul Volcker is running it. Okay. Number two, Federal Reserve could work right unless Greenspan puts his thumb on it. Okay. They use demand side tools to reduce inflation. Demand side means we're gonna pull the money out, suck the money out of the country, the M1 supply.
Let's take a step back.
Okay.
Okay. We at the beginning of Trump's term, he talked about the tariffs and how it was going to cause inflation, and inflation
Mm-hmm.
was going to run rampant, and that hasn't happened, right?
Well, yes, but not to the extent that they thought.
Inflation is nowhere near what it was during the Biden administration. It's not even close, Danny. That's not even up for
No,
discussion.
it's not.
Okay.
But
So-
we've been
so-
working
so
against
what- so
inflation all the way. It's
all
been
the
coming
fear-
down from the peak,
All the fear
which was before Trump.
was that was going to cause problems. And
That it was
hasn't.
there was going to reemerge.
The
It
ones
hasn't.
the only ones that have really taken a big hit are the soybean farmers, and they're working because China
Well,
buys so much soybean from us.
I get Jardiance. Do you know what Jardiance is? It's type 2
drug.
diabetes pills, right? If I buy them in this country, it's like $400 for 3 months. So I go to Northwest Pharmacy, which is a Canadian company, right? Mm-hmm. I can get them
Everybody's
for.
been doing that for years, going to Canada for their drugs.
I've been getting them for a third of the price. When I went to reorder them after Trump,
Yeah.
they hit me with a
Tariff.
$50 tariff on it.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
So now it's almost expensive to
And-
give those
and-
discount drugs out there.
And just like when COVID hit, they were checking on service fees because they weren't making any money, and they had to tack on because prices were fluctuating so bad that they would charge you an extra 5% just because.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, businesses are going to learn how to make up
Yeah,
their losses.
they
no
make
matter what.
money.
That's
That's what
their
they're
job.
for.
That's why you invest.
Yes.
That's why your retirement
There's
funds
nothing
invest
wrong with them making
and
money.
Well, but it sounded like a little while ago you were pissed off that people were making money.
Too much money.
What's too much?
Too much is when
What's too
you
much?
can't make enough.
What's too much?
When they're making too
what
much,
is-
it's just like freedom.
Wait. What does you making money have to do with me making
Because
money?
everything is
Wait,
a
why-
relativistic world, okay?
No.
Hey, Einstein figured it out 100 years ago. Everything is relativistic, okay? Everything has some relative meaning to something else. You can't say you're rich unless you know somebody's poor, okay? Because it's
yin and yang.
it's not quite a yin and yang. It's a proportional ratio that you're looking for, okay? And if there's, I think Ingalls was the one who came up with the chart, but if the expected lifestyle is a certain level, because you see around you everybody else that's living at a certain level, but you're living at a level that's way below that lifestyle, okay, you start to resent the people around you. And you start to think in terms of revolution, crime, revolt, all that other stuff, right? So that's where Karl Marx and Engels said that the revolution comes in. And they've been right on that on most cases, because every revolution that turned a regular economy or a capitalist economy into a communist one came after the balance of income was so extreme that the bottom...
How'd that work out for him?
I don't know. Some of them worked out okay.
Really? Which ones?
China? Russia?
China? Russia worked out okay?
Better than the Tsar.
Cuba?
Ask somebody. Well, not Cuba.
Venezuela? Yeah.
Well, you know,
okay.
Batista wasn't actually a charming guy. Okay. Did you ever read about his torture
You're
chambers?
trying to tell me people would rather go live in Russia and China than to live in the United States?
No, but people rather live in today's Cuba than they would under Batista.
Well, so what? What does that do for me?
Well, that was
No,
comparison that you were
your whole
making.
thing was as though if I live in listen, we were 5 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, okay?
Yeah.
And we were fine, okay? And then we moved to the suburbs and we got a bigger house and we were fine. I didn't care that my family didn't care that they didn't move to, Winnetka or whatever,
You
Lake
didn't.
Forest or what everybody else did. We did what we did what made us happy, that made us a better life than our generation before. And if you got a problem with someone else making more money, that's your problem.
No, it's
not their
how
problem.
they make more money.
No, well, they don't steal it. They
Sometimes
make it.
they do.
Oh,
In your
how do
mind-
they steal it, Danny?
In your mind, you think
How do
that-
they steal it? Because
Ask
they don't pay
Luigi.
taxes? Yes, because they
Ask
don't pay taxes?
Luigi. How did he
How do they
think?
steal it?
You're a defense attorney.
Go
How
ahead.
would you defend Luigi?
Luigi who?
The guy who shot the insurance guy.
The guy's an idiot. What are you talking about?
And that's how you would defend him as a defense attorney?
Yeah, because it's pretty clear cut that he shot the guy, so we're probably going with some type of mental defect. We're probably going to some type of insanity defense, which probably isn't going to work anyways. You're going to tell I'm going to use a justified. He was justified in shooting the CEO of a
Well, I'll
company
tell you what,
that
we're
was
talking about
walking
the
down the
future.
street doing nothing in the back.
What
Are
do
you crazy?
Do you project that he's going to be found guilty?
In New York, who knows? Who knows in New York? I don't know.
I think he's going to have a hung jury.
Probably they'll probably give it. As crazy as it sounds, they might give him a lesser included. Okay.
I think you're right.
Okay.
I think they're not going to go for the whole 9 yards because
And-
all
and-
they have to have is one woman on that
No, it's
jury,
it's not just one
and he's
woman, Dan.
he's walking.
He's not. But again, I don't like talking about cases because there's so many facts and things
Nuances
that we
that-
don't know
yeah.
that I would never ever want to try to give an opinion based on things I don't know. People do that to me all the time, and
No, I understand
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I think that's a really tough case to defend. Okay, I think factually, if that case is, listen, I always said if O.J. Simpson got tried in DuPage County in the late '80s, that's a 2-week trial, and he's sitting in the hoosgow for the rest of his life. He probably would have gotten the death penalty in DuPage County at that point. All right, there's no way that verdict would have happened in most counties here in Illinois, even Cook. But you never know what your jury makeup is, so who knows, man? Who knows what's going to happen with that guy? But
Well,
getting back, just because Luigi had a problem with an insurance company doesn't mean we started a revolution. I don't like insurance companies. I've always said there's 2 evils in this universe: insurance companies and Disney. Okay, I think they're the root of all evil in the universe, and I think most of what we're seeing. We talked about the budget and the shutdown that's been going on and these tax breaks that was going to happen with Obamacare, and I think the whole healthcare issue should be more concentrated on the insurance industry versus the government. Because if you know anybody that's in the medical profession, you will know that the insurance companies' way of paying off and valuing services is arbitrary.
So why not just go to a single payer from cradle to grave?
But who's going to tell you? Who's going to set out those prices? Who's going to set
Who
those
does
prices?
this for Medicare?
They do, and
The ARA,
hang on a
they-
second. Hang on a
Yeah.
second, because again, I have friends of mine that are in the medical profession, and they won't take Medicare patients because Medicare tells them, oh, if you're going to do a colonoscopy, we're going to give you $1,200, and he goes, that doesn't cover it. I can't even break even at $1,200. Okay, they set the price, they set the market.
Well, I don't know. I've been on Medicare for a long time, and I haven't found a doctor or a hospital that hasn't taken me.
Because you probably have a supplemental.
Yeah, I do have a supplemental.
So they're getting paid through the supplemental.
It's $200 a month.
Your supplemental is $200 a month. Do you know that when Rush Limbaugh had his heart attack in Hawaii, he walked into the hospital and they go, "Do you have insurance card?" And he goes, "No," and he gave him his American Express card.
As American Express.
And that's how he paid for his medical bills.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay? I
Well,
can't
they-
tell you.
no, they didn't know how to charge the card?
I
Come
can't. I can't tell you. You know, my wife takes a certain medication. She can't take the generic. Okay, every 18 months we have to go through this battle with the insurance company because somebody sitting in an office says, "You got to take the generic form of the drug," and her doctor says she can't take the generic form. It doesn't work. Too bad. No, it doesn't work. Too bad. Okay.
I changed Plan D.
Well, it's no. I have pretty good insurance, Danny. I have really good insurance. For
Not
my
if
life.
they
I
do
don't-
that. I mean,
No, that's the good insurance. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, it isn't some bronze plan. I mean, I've got a nice. I pay a lot of money for my insurance for my family. You'd throw up because I usually do when I see the bill. Okay, it's the insurance again. Guys, office of 3 guys 30 years ago, 3 doctors, 1 person doing billing. Now, 3 doctors, 3 people doing billing for each doctor. Why? Because of the insurance coding and having to deal with all that.
See, now I found almost the opposite because in my plethora of doctors that I go to, okay, there's a podiatrist, there's a...
We don't want to hear all your
I mean,
ailments. Go ahead.
At 78, you get a lot of them. Anyway, my list, okay, more than 50% of them, more than 50%, and I'd have to go back and look at them, all share some kind of billing agency, okay?
Yeah.
You don't... They no longer bill you from the office. In fact, you're told on the bill, do not call the doctor because he doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
The doctor doesn't code it correctly, then it doesn't get to the
Right.
right spot to get to
So
the...
they all concentrate in, there's this building on Ogden Avenue, okay, that has, it's not a medical building, it's an insurance building that services the medical industry. I think it's it only services the medical industry. It's part of that dually system.
Well, Dewey's just one of a gazillion around the country.
But it's incredible. You can't talk to the doctor about your bill. You have to talk to this third party, okay?
Right.
And,
Oh, yeah, doctors
and
have
they're the
nothing to do
ones
with
that deal with your insurance, you know. And the insurance is
I know people that have said, you need to go get an MRI or you need to go to get this, and the insurance company says, well, we can't approve it because you already had one. So they went,
within a
okay,
certain time.
how much do you want cash? I'll pay you cash for my MRI.
Yeah, and will they do it
And you would be surprised at the price you get.
cheaper?
Way cheaper. Way cheaper. Right?
So
Milton
it's-
Friedman.
they're gaming.
What did Milton
They're
Friedman...
gaming the system.
What did Milton Friedman say? Milton Friedman said, if you're using your money to buy something for yourself, you're going to worry about the quality and the cost. If you're going to use your money to buy something for somebody else, you're going to worry about the cost, but you're not going to worry about the quality. If you're using other people's money, you're not going to care about the quality or the cost. If you're using other people's money.
Yeah,
Insurance companies, they're using other people's money to pay. They don't care.
yeah.
They're looking at their bottom line. Let's get back to the future.
I go,
Let's get back to
you
the
lost
future.
me on Milton Friedman because he was the advisor, the economic advisor to Ronald Reagan. Reagan's economy wasn't that hot under him. Okay.
Okay,
I mean,
it may not have been, but okay, Milton Friedman
But
was
go
still
ahead.
a great economist.
yeah, he comes from the University of
I
Chicago.
think-
He was the chairman of the department.
What I see a lot is we talked about culture. I see a huge rift in culture in our country that I don't know if is fixable. I think there's a huge rift politically where no matter what, if one side says A, the other side's going to say B, and it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Okay, and I think the times of working together, listening to each other, trying to come up with compromise views
Doing what we do.
are gone.
right
Are
here.
gone. You're right, and that was always the premise of our program. But I see that as being very, very. I think that's going to be very challenging in the years to come.
Yeah, the future is definitely going to have to deal with the pivotal point of where we're at right now. I'm not going to say Trump's presidency. I'm just going to say where we're at right now. Because I don't see Trump as the problem. I see him as the symptom. Okay, that the problem is...
What's the problem then?
The problem is the confrontation between ideologies right now. That's the problem. There's no give and take. Right now, it's like, I've had enough of yours, you're going to listen to mine. And no, yours is crazy, so I'm never going to listen to yours. That's where we're at right now as a society.
Yeah,
Okay?
I don't disagree with you on
And,
that.
and that's the point. And he's the figurehead for one group. Okay? And you've pointed to Mandami several times. So the other side your side is searching for a figurehead on the other side. You used to be George Soros. He was the root of all liberal evil.
Well, he's still, he's still a bad guy.
He was the found. He was
He's still a bad
he
guy.
was the funder.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He was the T. Boone Pickens of
T.
the
Boone Pickens.
of the left. You know. So it was or the Edelson, wasn't he the other guy on the right? Edelson, T. Boone Pickens, and
I don't know.
and
Go ahead.
Rupert
Go ahead.
Murdoch.
Make a point.
Okay, that's the triumvirate of evil.
Ross Perot, go ahead.
No, Ross Perot was actually
you like
a
Ross
nice
Perot.
guy.
Yeah, you like Ross
I
Perot.
liked Ross Perot. Okay, that little shrimp. You know, he was the only real Ayn Rand
did
guy that ever really meant what he said.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought up Ross Perot. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for him to go off on that. Go ahead.
Why?
I like Ross Perot.
He
No,
was-
let's get back to our discussion about where we're at in terms of the future and as a culture.
He says culture. Yeah, culture is going to be an unpredictable thing. I have no prediction on where the culture is going to land. I have no clue. Okay, I mean, I hope it's not going to be radical on either side. Because if it's radical on either side, that means there's authoritarianism that's involved. That's the evil. It's not the economic system. It's how you press it on everybody. If it's authoritarian,
So, do you view Trump as the king, as an authoritarian?
I think that's the problem he has. He admires authoritarian. So he admires Xi. He admires the Middle East, whatever they are, the Emens or whatever they are.
I don't think he admires him, but go ahead.
Well, he said it. You know, he said that they have great power. They have this, you know, and they can get things done. And he's right. They can
Yeah,
get
they
things
can.
done because an autocratic government
Yeah, but-
can get things done.
Yes.
I mean, if Hitler wanted it done, it got done.
Yes.
If Mussolini wanted it done, tomorrow it was done.
But that doesn't mean that that's what he's trying to do here or wants to do here.
I don't know. Okay,
Well,
his
so-
actions
so-
kind of mimic it.
How?
How?
Yeah. How?
Okay.
I always like to ask for example. You know.
All right.
How?
Didn't he need authorization from the Congress for a few acts he just did? Isn't that what his critics are saying? I mean, like authorizing the National Guard to cite themselves on a internal United States property.
No.
I mean, no,
no,
he didn't.
He does not.
He used the active war powers of 1973. What war are we in? Give me a war.
Well, you don't.
I
need
mean,
to-
what,
no.
what did Congress? What war did Congress?
I don't know if it was the war power. So you looped in a couple of different things in your question.
No,
Okay.
that's because I'm smart.
No. I'm smart too, so I can decipher that stuff.
That's
okay?
why we can. That's why we can have a conversation.
Sometimes I'm smart. Okay, so we're talking about can he send troops on to protect federal property? He absolutely can. He doesn't need.
well, that's a stretch.
He doesn't need permission to do that. He can do that.
But that wasn't what they were doing.
That's
they weren't
exactly
protecting.
what they were doing.
They were protecting federal
Where?
ICE
Where?
agents.
Where?
In Chicago.
No, they were protecting federal. They were
ICE
protecting
agents.
Federal agents that were using federal property to do their jobs.
They weren't protecting the property. They were protecting the agents from
Yes.
being arrested by Chicago cops.
Chicago cops are not going to arrest them. Okay, that's
Well,
not
they
happening.
were afraid of
That's
that
not
Pritzker was
happening.
going to support the Chicago or state police.
What he was doing is the Chicago police and the other police, because of we talked about this a few weeks ago. You know,
Right.
where the Trust Act of Illinois is the police weren't allowed to help the ICE agents if they were getting shit thrown at them and getting sprayed and whatever else they were doing. So he says, well, if your police aren't going to protect my people, my troops are going to protect my people. You think there's something wrong with that?
No, but
Okay.
I don't think that was the issue. The issue was that
That's exactly what
the issue was that Pritzker said these guys are going to get arrested if they break the law.
Okay.
You know,
And-
that
and
the ICE
Pritzker-
agents
and
will get
that's-
arrested if they break the law. That's what he said, and then Trump said, no, they won't.
That's
Okay?
right. That's right. Because one, they weren't getting the help, and two, it's like, yeah, you're not
Well, if
going
they break the law, they should be arrested.
What law are they breaking, Dan?
Okay.
Okay, what law are they breaking? They are carrying out federal policy.
No, they
are
pulled
carrying-
a pregnant woman out of a car. I saw it on a video. Okay, and it wasn't a
You
deep.
saw it on a video.
It wasn't a deep thing
saw it on a
video.
video?
No, they admitted it happened. Okay,
Do
so
they make mistakes? Of course they do. Are
Well,
they perfect?
if I punch
No.
you because I think you're ugly, and I say, "Oh, I'm mistaken. You're not ugly," so I take it back. Is it still breaking the law?
Probably.
Okay,
Okay.
so I don't care what their issue was.
It's a rights violation. It's not a criminal violation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Danny, but it
Once
is.
you put your hand on somebody, it's battery.
Why did the
That's
officers?
criminal.
Why did the officers in Rodney King? Why were they found not guilty? Do you remember why? Remember Rodney King?
Training.
Right,
were
because
trained
they said
to do
this
that.
is what we were trained to do. This is
Yeah.
what we were trained to do.
Well-
we were acting on good faith belief that this was appropriate at the circumstances at the time. As it turned out, was it overkill? Of course it was. Okay, well, we've dealt with people that have been on bad acid trips and things of that nature. So we've talked about that before too. I don't want to get bogged down into
Yeah.
something like that. The point being, getting back to our original, I always like to get back to the original topic, is
Future.
the future and the polarization of us as a culture.
Well, I think
Okay?
it's gonna take. I predict at least a half a dozen years before we come to any kind of melding of feeling that we're one again. Okay, because right now I feel that the overwhelming feeling is that we're split into two camps, not quite divided as a society, but we're in two separate camps that are looking towards getting further apart rather than getting together. I think it'll be 6 years before we get back together. And that's going to be after this administration is over and the next administration comes in and sees if whichever, whether it's Vance or whether it's a Democrat, whatever, Newsom or whatever, if they pull it together, then great. I think I wanted to get on a different subject before we get off because we're running out of time. One of the future things that we need to look at in this country is we need to improve our transportation system. Our system of transportation is getting old. The interstates are old. We have old railroads. Every nation is passing us up with high-speed rails.
Mr. Musk might be improving that. He just hinted, that was like 2-3 days ago on Joe Rogan's podcast, that he's hoping to reveal something really big, and he basically was indicating a flying car essentially is going to be released before the end of 2025.
The Jetsons.
Yep.
A flying car. Who said Elon Musk?
Elon Musk, just on Joe Rogan a few days ago.
Well, that won't cause any problems, will it?
They tried to do that in California with this
Yeah, with that-
high-speed rail
yeah.
that is
And it
costing
just didn't go.
billions and billions of dollars, and it doesn't work, and it's not finished, and it never will be, and it's just a complete crap show.
Florida has one. Right?
I think do they?
I think they got a bullet train. My brother talks about taking Orlando to Miami in like an hour or two, or like a couple hours.
Well, we took the bullet train in Italy. It was worth it.
Yeah, well, but you have to understand that transportation in those countries started out differently when transportation started out 150, 100 years ago. Okay? America was vast, and we had cars, and we were mass making cars, and there was room
we had
for
old roads. They had old roads. We had new ones.
We had room for all the cars.
Yeah.
Okay? Europe doesn't have room for all those cars. So they relied more on their train system and their trolley systems and their boats to get you from A to B a lot more economically than autos. So
Well, the attitude here, I would agree, is that people would rather drive than ride public transportation.
well, I would. I do.
No, I mean, the
won't
attitude
take-
here is
yeah.
people would rather do it. Number one, it is cheaper.
I won't take
Okay, I
public
mean, no matter what you put into the cost of your car and maintenance and insurance and all that other stuff, you put 6 people in it, it's a lot cheaper than getting on any train or any airplane, okay?
Oh,
and
by the way, Pritzker upped the toll fees in the middle of the night last weekend. Did you know that?
no,
Oh yeah,
what
4
fees?
o'clock in the morning they passed the bill that your tolls. Your
Oh,
toll
for the
fees.
toll booths?
Yeah, your 115 toll just went up to about 145.
Yeah, but you know what? When Edgar put in the tolls, he said it would be paid off in 10 years. It's never been
Edgar
paid
didn't
off.
put in the tolls. The tolls were in long before Edgar got in.
No, yeah, but he expanded
Edgar.
them to that 294 or whatever.
No,
it was.
whatever. I mean, the toll. I remember the toll booths used to. They didn't have the gates. You used to pretend you put the change in.
You have to put
okay,
it in
if
the
you had no
basket.
change, if you were busted like me as a teenager, you pretended to put the change in the basket.
And then they got a camera to take a
and then,
picture
well, then
of
they
your
had the, then
license
they had the
plate.
gate, and it's like, damn, I got to put something in there.
But it was supposed to be paid off in 20 years.
Yes, it
When
was.
people out there, all you millennials, if you're paying tolls at toll roads, those toll roads were supposed to have been paid off by 1990. Okay.
Well,
They were all supposed to be paid off by 1990. The Chicago Skyway, that was supposed to be paid off, I
And they
think,
sold
in
it.
1970.
and they sold it to a private company. That
Yeah.
cost you $10 to go through it or something ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with the parking meters, right? And they sell that to a private company.
Okay, so here's the one that's going to really get to me. If I'm driving on the tollway from here to there, and I go through 2 toll booths, and they determine that my average speed is 82 miles an hour, and I get a ticket, there's going to be some pissed off people around here.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
because that's coming next.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're-
You're going to
they're
get one of those.
already putting hints
Yeah,
out.
it's going to be like those cameras that they put in the city that catch you going 7 miles over the limit, and it costs you $50.
Hey, it's funny you bring that up with my IT business where we go and service, different clients all throughout Chicagoland. I literally just told one of my partners in the company, if anyone in the Chicago area code asks us for service again, there's automatically a $100 fee because I'm sick of these damn cameras giving one of us a ticket. It's always something. But I can't even tell. I have 2 on my desk at home right
And
now.
that's your government picking on the little guy that's going to work.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Well, that's the
I'm using
government.
money on service
That's not
calls.
the rich guy picking on the little
That's
guy.
the
That's the government picking on
That's
the
the
little guy.
politicians saying, I need revenue and I can't increase taxes or I won't be in office
And
next
why
year.
do you need more
So
revenue?
where do I go to get revenue?
Where's the money
Government
going?
always needs more revenue.
Well,
I mean,
but
it just does.
And there is one of the fundamental differences is the conservatives don't want government to be taking all your money. They want to take your money for certain things that you absolutely positively need to have.
Well, you know what?
I don't
Do you
need to be
remember a guy
sending-
named Dan Walker?
yeah.
Okay.
Walked all over the United, all
He
over the
walked
state
all
of
over.
Illinois.
He
Walked
ran
every
as
county.
as an ultra conservative Democrat, independent Democrat.
Right.
Okay, he didn't have the support of the Democratic Party. They thought he was an ass.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the support of the Republicans because he was a Democrat. Okay, I mean, he wouldn't flip over. So he won somehow the governorship. Okay, and what he did, his first thing was he ran in a campaign that he would wipe out the deadbeats that are on the welfare rolls. That was his big thing. He went to every town
Okay.
hall meeting saying, too many
Right.
people's
Yeah,
here.
I get it. I get
you know,
it. I get it.
So that was my first job after I got out of college. I was hired as a redetermination expert for the Department of Children and Family Services.
Okay.
And my job was to go into the Robert Taylor
Right. We
apartments
talked about this.
and knock on doors and
Yeah.
and see if
How many
the,
deadbeats did you find?
maybe 3 out of 100, okay, whatever. But it wasn't, the whole idea was we're going to take money from the people who are deadbeats. There's always this deadbeat issue. It's like politics is always a wick. Waste, incompetence, and corruption. That's what you do. You say the other politician wastes money, he's incompetent, or he's corrupt. Okay, they're wicks. That's your enemy. Okay, it's not Republican, it's not Democrat. That's what the picture you paint for the general public. That's what we have to get over. We have to get over that. We have to get over the saying, you're going to die in purgatory if you elect this guy. You elect me because I'm going to do this for you. In fact, you know what, folks? I've decided right now, I'm running for president in 2028. Okay? I'm going to be 1 year younger than Trump. So if you would have voted for Trump if he was eligible to do it, you'd be able to vote for me too, because I tend to lie. I intend to lie just as much as he does, you know. But
We got any questions up there?
You just got a few comments here from John. He was kind of chiming in all throughout the show. He said, one theory, AI will determine what culture is in the future. There will always be rich and poor, but part of being a good human is working towards equity. There's nothing wrong with being rich as long as you pay your share of taxes and contribute to the community in which you operate.
Yeah.
And that's what's not happening. You did mention medical tourism at one point, which is funny. I am literally just talking to one of my dental
insurance providers.
One of my dentists about, hey, is it going to be cheaper for me to fly out of the country and do this? And they couldn't look at me with a straight face. And then lastly, he just said, AI is the genie in the bottle. Once it becomes self-replicating, we are in serious trouble. We are on the
That's
cusp.
what everybody's afraid of.
Yeah. So as always, John, thanks. You always are insightful. You know, the tax the rich thing is always been, how much do you tax the rich? One of the things that I've always said is the reason that Congress doesn't do anything with the tax code is because it affects them as well as anybody else,
Yes.
and they don't want to do that.
Yes.
You know, the top 1%ers are paying, I think, what's about 50 to 60% of the total tax revenue we have in this country. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, but they
It's pretty
make
significant.
90% of the income.
Nah, I don't know if they make 90%.
Everything is relative.
That's all relative. But again, still, I mean, you know, at some point, they're just going to say, I'm not going to play the game. I'm rich enough that I can go set up my corporation in, you know, Bahrain or whoever else I want, and I'll, you know, I won't
Certainly
get taxed.
they do,
You know?
and certainly they can, and
Yep.
that will cause society to make a readjustment. Then the country will figure out a way that they can adjust for that loss of income. Okay, I mean it just has to
Can they? How,
Yeah.
how does the government adjust for a loss of income without coming up with new taxes to generate new income?
be. Oh well, Trump did. He put on tariffs, which is a sales tax on everybody.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
But nobody saw it as a sales tax. They saw,
And what did-
China's going to pay for it.
And what did I say when he was doing it? It was all about leverage, and that's exactly what it was. It was
About
all
what?
about leverage.
No, it's all about image.
It's all about leverage. It got him leverage, and it got him what he wanted. And a lot of listen.
What did he win?
He's
What did we
he's
win?
cut deals all over the world in terms of his tariffs. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but what did we win? We won a tax break for Elon Musk.
No,
That's what we won.
But you're being very myopic in that.
But that's not a big part of it, right?
no, I'm
$1
not saying it's not a
trillion
big-
dollars just sucked out of the income of the United States when he made that tax break. $1 trillion.
And how much did they get from the other tariffs?
From tariffs?
Yeah.
$500 million so far.
little
Well,
bit
your
more
tariffs
than
go on. See,
Right.
they go on and on
Ongoing.
and on. This is going to be an on and on ongoing thing.
All right.
Well-
Well, Evelyn, thank you, everybody. Whoever's out there listening to us rant and rave.
Anybody else out there got a thought?
All
No.
right.
All right. Well, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Been around the low and the mighty, heard the sound of heroes is frightening. In every town, 1,000 kings, somewhere downtown a minstrel sings. In Union Station, a man's waiting for the last train. People say that the old world Papers we read, there's a new age is forming. So the